Hey, music lovers, it's Byron with Musical Miles Podcast. We are here in Livingston, Montana with Miss Erica Sunshine Lee.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Slide on up here, so because
Let's
you're we got to hear you talk. Because you got that.
Can y'all hear me now?
We can hear you now. You got that great little southern accent.
There you go.
If you want to slide that
Perfect.
way.
That's great.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Elberton, Georgia, born and raised, and then I moved to Nashville after moving to San Francisco, starting a country band.
Wow, that's a big jump.
It was a long distance.
Georgia,
yeah.
San Francisco, Nashville. So you currently hang your hat in Nashville?
Very, very seldom. I go home about a week out of the year. I stay on the road pretty much 300 to 350 days a year.
Well, since I got introduced to you and your music, which is because of the festival, right? That's why we're here, is to meet the artist and to hear your story. But so, do you actually have a house or an apartment or something
I've got a house.
In Nashville? But you're never there.
It's just spiraled out. I moved there in 2012 and started branching out my tours I started my band in San Francisco in 2007.
Okay.
And then, of course, I'd go back home and play in Georgia. And then I started touring internationally and then moved back to Nashville so I could write for other artists and get some cuts and then record in the studio. And then I just stayed on the road. I love being able to tour and play shows all over the country and started going to Key West in 2012 at the Songwriters Festival.
Yeah, we just talked about that in the elevator. So, the cool thing about music is that it is so mobile, right? I mean, it's not, a lot of people think that, those artists just go to Nashville and they sit in Nashville and write music and record and they don't ever go anywhere. But we all know that's not true.
Well, for me, I just wanted to make a living touring, and I stayed in Nashville and I wrote all the time for other artists. But for me, the best songs come from real life experiences and being able to tour and go hiking in the mountains in Montana before the show, or go paddleboarding in the Keys, or go mountain biking or hiking, or just exploring in Napa Valley wine tasting before a show. It just, to me, I want to pack the most I can in every single day, and I love life. I love sports. I love the outdoors. So I try to make the most of it.
Well, I've learned that in a very short period of time with you, just following you on social media, because you're like a moving target. No one's ever going to be able to hit you because you're just gone. You're go.
Absolutely.
Right? And we talked about Key West. So my wife, who unfortunately is not here this weekend because she had a prior commitment, but we love Florida and we love Key West.
It's a great spot. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's a melting pot of partiers and families, and you can have dinner next to a billionaire and a homeless guy, and you don't know which is which, and I love that.
Exactly. And it's such. I mean, I love your songs, and I apologize for not being able to call the titles, but you sing songs about Key West and about the bars, Smoking Tuna, Sloppy Joe's, all those, and I've been in all those bars, right, and hung out and listened to live music in those bars, and that's what we love about Key West, is that the music scene is so vibrant there, and it's so vast and diverse. So broad and diverse, right? So you'll hear jazz coming out of one bar down here, and then you'll hear some rockers coming out of Smoking Tuna or Irish Kevin's, I mean, it's just crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just such a cool town.
It is. It's like nowhere else.
No, and it drew some really, really cool artistic people. Jimmy Buffett. Jerry Jeff Walker, that's
Hemingway, exactly.
Hemingway, and you know where Hemingway is buried? Do you know where he's buried? Sun Valley, Idaho.
Oh,
Ketchum,
really?
Idaho. Yeah.
See, I would have thought for sure somewhere in Key West.
Well, no, and he wrote 60% of his works were written in Key West.
Okay. But
he traveled the world. He loved Sun Valley, Idaho. You know why? Because it reminded him of Spain.
Ooh.
And so, I just love those stories. But one of my favorite writers is a local guy from here in Livingston, by the name of, and I'm going to drop the ball here. I just talked about him today. Tom McGuane. Oh. And Tom McGuane lived in Key West, and he is married to Laurie McGuane, is Jimmy Buffett's sister.
Oh,
and they live here. And so I just recently saw a show. A documentary about those guys when they all lived down there in the 60s and early 70s, and what a wild time it was.
I'm sure it's still a wild time. Y'all come down this winter and see me. I'll be down there hosting the Key West Chick Fest January 15th to 19th. It's a female songwriter festival I started 4 years ago.
Oh, you started it. Oh, cool. So tell us about that, because we're trying to figure out if we're coming back from mile zero.
Oh, yeah.
Or if now maybe we need to come to the Chick Fest.
Come a little early.
Yeah.
So I just feel like a lot of female singer-songwriters that are super talented, I've been able to write with, collaborate with, and hear and find at shows and scout out in Nashville. So many of those don't get heard. They fall through the cracks. In the last 20 years, country radio just kind of slid the women aside, and it was all about the boys club. And I felt like, if we're not going to get heard, then I'll start my own festival. And so I started booking girls 4 years ago and bring them down. And it's a songwriters retreat in the morning, and we collaborate, write songs together, and then we showcase at night. So it's been really cool to be able to highlight super talented females and bring them collaboration instead of competition.
So where do you perform at?
So Sunset Pier, and it was Smoke and Tuna, but this year we're going to be at the Sunset Pier in a different venue. I'm still working out the details.
Okay.
But for right now, the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th is of January, and we might do a kickoff party for the VIP on the 15th. So go to Instagram at Key West Chick Fest, and I'm announcing the lineup this week.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because we absolutely love Key West, and we don't need a big reason to come, but we need. But if we can come and do the podcast, and you can help line out the artists for the interviews.
Some meet and greets and some behind the scenes. I love it.
And maybe we need to do a live podcast.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, how cool would that be? So, let's talk about your musical journey. Where did it start? How did it start?
So I sang in church when I was 5, like a lot of my friends and musicians in the South. We grew up at First Baptist Church, and I started singing there, and I led worship in middle school and high school, and I would sing karaoke at the bar that I was a waitress at in high school. And then I moved to San Francisco to visit my sister and started breaking into the karaoke bars underage. Sorry, Mom. And I would sing every place I got the chance to. And then when I met a guy named John Lawton, he was in a band called the Rodeo Clowns. He started. It was a classic rock band.
Okay.
So I started singing with him in 2004, and 2 years later we had a tiff and a riff, and so I split up, took the bass player and drummer, and started my own band.
There you go.
So that's how it began. And then I started writing my own songs because I had a breakup, and the guy left his guitar at my house, and I learned 3 chords on YouTube, taught myself, and started playing guitar and writing sad love songs to get myself through the breakup. But then it just became really, for me, I guess it was just such an intimate connection when you can play a song and you see people relate, and you know that they are going through the same thing, and that connection that music has. Right. And so being able to perform my own songs was just unreal. And then I got to go to Nashville and knock down doors in Music Row, and finally walked into Funhouse Studios and met Buddy Hyatt, and he's been my producer ever since. Cool. So I've got my 11th album we just released.
So yeah, you've done a ton of albums, because I've listened to a lot of your music, and you have some really fun music. Some really fun music.
Thank you.
And I love that about you, and you got this great big personality, and that's cool. You remind me a little bit of another artist friend of mine, Darcy Carlson, who I've interviewed on the podcast, and she's just got a big personality, and she's such a performer. And so, but anyway, So you've been doing the songwriting deal for how many years now?
16 years full time, and touring about 250 shows a year full time.
Oh my God!
Nonstop.
Yeah, like your hair's on fire.
Absolutely.
Wide open. Wow. So I had a job that I traveled a lot for work, and so I can relate, but not on that level. And of course I raised a family and have a wife, and so we I get to spend some nights at home, but that's a lot.
It is.
It gets. This is not for the weak-hearted.
No, and it's funny because a lot of times people will say, you're so lucky, which I'm super blessed because I have parents that are alive and together still after 50 years and that have prayed for us and loved my brother and sister and I. And so I have such a solid upbringing that I'm really grateful for. But being able to go on the road is a choice, and you make sacrifices just like with a family. And so for me, I've chose my career. I've chosen to give up a great job selling cars in the Bay Area. After a few years, I put myself through college, and I just wanted to go on the road full time. And I knew that I was playing so many shows, but it was a huge leap of faith. It wasn't like it was easy, and I made a lot less money. And there was nights you sleep in your car, you crash on your friends' couches, you have band members that you have to check into rehab. I mean, it was a lot that people don't see. And now when they see me staying at a beautiful lodge in Montana and hiking during the day, you're so lucky. And so they don't understand that all the little steps when you were playing for that bar that didn't pay the gas money 15 years ago for 5
Right.
people, including your parents, and your mama's going, "Why are you playing here? I don't understand why you're doing this." You can't explain it to a non-musician.
Right.
It's in your blood. It's what you choose and your passion. You got to follow it.
I equate it to an addiction there's no cure for. And
That's
really,
true.
honestly, that's what music is to most of us.
It is.
Those of us who love music. And so, and for me, it's live music.
And it's therapy. So
Yeah.
many people need that in their life to keep
Yeah.
going. It brings happiness. It brings cohesiveness. It gives you the feeling that you're not alone when you hear fun songs. It makes you
Yeah.
smile. It
Yeah.
introduces you and connects you to other people. And so for
Exactly.
me, I think it's all those things that like spider webs off into new relationships and connections and travels.
Yeah. I actually had an experience this a couple weeks ago that I won't even mention the band, but I went to a concert that I walked out of it, and that breaks my heart because it should never happen. Never. Right? There should be some entertainment value to that
course.
for everyone in the room, and there just wasn't that night, and so it was sad. But as much I've seen, probably really close to 70 live bands since mid-May.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of live music, but I love it, and I can't, and honestly, I don't know that
Just
I
feed
can
your soul.
ever get enough. Right? It's
We
the
love people like you. Keep coming back.
It's the addiction that there's no cure for, and this is what I tell everybody: look, go to the shows. Download the music, even though it doesn't pay much, but those downloads add up. We just talked
Absolutely.
with Abigail about that.
And stream it. We like
and
when you do both.
Stream it, download it, but then go to the shows, but buy the merch.
Absolutely.
Throw the money, throw 20 in the tip jar. It's not going to kill you, especially
Right.
a lot of these deals when you go to a bar.
It's a free show.
It's a free show, essentially. You know,
Well,
what I
and
mean?
then you can decide if you like it or not, and then you
Yeah.
can take home a souvenir. And what most people don't understand is when they ask you, like, how do we get your music out there? I'm like, all you have to do is click share, write a comment on the post, and then tell your friends about it. And when we have a show in your town, come see us. Follow me on bands in town so you don't miss when I'm in your town.
And I
it
have
goes a
all
long
those-
way.
Oh, absolutely. And we're in the same boat because we tell people all the time. You see us. I can't tell you how many people say, "Oh, I've seen your podcast. It's great."
But have you shared it?
Have you shared it, or have
Right.
you even subscribed? That little button right down there.
It means
Click
a
the
lot.
subscribe, and that makes all the difference in the world.
It's like
right?
as Christians, you got to go out and share the gospel,
You gotta
man.
go,
you
yeah.
got to share
You
it.
gotta go share it, right? Because if you don't, no one's ever
No
going
one's
to
gonna hear it.
And what we're trying to do is share your music with new people, right?
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, they're not going to get exposed to it, Erica. Right?
Well, I'll try to go to Idaho or Montana
Yeah,
or
you need-
Timbuktu. I mean, I try to get there.
Yeah. Have you been to Idaho?
I have played in Coeur d'Alene. It was about 7 years ago. I know.
We tell the people up there that's part of Washington. That's not.
Pretty
we live in
close.
southeast.
And
Idaho.
I'm happy to go there.
Yeah,
Book me and
yeah.
I will come.
We need to get you in southeast
Absolutely.
Idaho, and we've met a lot of great artists that have not been there yet, and we're trying to get them. Same deal, right? To get you out there and expose you to some. The problem is in states like Idaho, Montana.
Right.
There's not a lot of population here, right? So it's a little difficult sometimes in that respect. But nonetheless, it's important to share your music and get you out there and get you some new fans, right? That's what we're trying to do. So, well, let's talk a little bit about the songwriting process, because you talked about traveling and being on the road and hiking and so what I just had that conversation with Abigail. So do you journal?
I mean, I have a notes in my phone. I wouldn't even say journal, but I have voice memos that are always going.
Sure.
I have notes. I have a hook notebook, and
Okay.
I'll email myself lyrics all day, all the time. When I'm
Okay.
driving down the road, I'll get an idea.
Sure.
Like there's a new song on my new album called Tupelo,
Okay.
and I wrote that at 80 miles an hour driving down the road to a golf tournament in Missouri.
Yeah.
And I have my voice to text going, and I'm driving thinking about this melody, and then I'll just hit the voice memo and sing the melody into it.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes later, I had the whole song written, and my buddy in
wow.
the passenger seat was probably gripping his gripping onto his handle. But
Yeah.
those ideas for me driving is when I get my ideas a lot in the shower. I
Okay.
think when I'm alone and I have my thoughts to myself, but I always have lyrics going through my head.
So are you? Do you have you spent a lot of time co-writing or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you do that.
I do.
So you collaborate a lot. See, because we talked about this earlier. I've talked with a lot of artists about it. Some are just like, no, No,
So-
it's very personal for me.
Nashville is such a collaborative town, and when I moved there, co-writing was pretty new for me. But my guitarist at the time, Matt Diggs, and a buddy of mine, Byron, they played guitar when I was just writing lyrics, and I
You
would
know
sing it
another
to them.
Byron besides
I do.
me? There's
I
not
do.
very many
It's
of
good
us.
name. Good
There's not very many in captivity, right?
But he was from my hometown. He was visiting in San Francisco.
Oh.
I'd sing the melody to the words, and he would play it on guitar. And so then after 3 of my songs that we wrote and Matt Diggs and I wrote, then I learned my own chords and started putting my own words to them. And then I moved to Nashville. And so I started getting paired up with people with a publisher and had 2 or 3 co-writes every day. And it was like the school of hard knocks. You got thrown to
Sure.
the wolves. And I got to write with some amazing hit #1 songwriters. And then I got to mentor and write with some brand new up and coming songwriters that just
Yeah.
moved to town. So it was really cool to be on both spectrums, to be
Right.
the veteran and then to be the amateur. And then
Right.
it gave me a lot of advice, ideas. I picked up so much from the experienced songwriters. And then sometimes the best songs I've written are just with friends that weren't even great at co-writing or had never even co-written a song.
Sure.
But because of the comfort level and the banter and being able to get intimate and talk about life.
I'm sure with having a conversation with someone, just
The
an everyday,
connection.
the connection, and you go, that's a great idea
Right.
for a song, and I love that. I love the whole process and getting to understand it better, because I'm not a creative guy at all, right? I mean I can talk and
Yeah.
I can ask the questions, but I just love music, so it just all comes together.
Well, and for me, the story usually starts with words. So 90% of my songs are probably lyrics first. But it's interesting, the licks that I've come up with that I have then put music to or guitar riffs,
Right.
those ones really stand out because it is so few that I have. So a wedding song called I Do, I wrote the riff first, and then I thought, that sounds really pretty. That's like a love song. And then my friend was getting married in Mexico the next week. So I wrote this whole love song, and now I've played it in like 10 countries and 100 weddings all over. It's called I Do.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
are really special to me, but
Sure.
I would say 90% of the time my words come first.
Okay.
But I'm like you. I talk a lot and I got a lot of words in my head.
Well, yeah, sometimes it's hard to get it out, right? Okay, so I got to ask. So Erica Sunshine. Now, is that literally a legal name, or is this just a
So my name is
moniker?
Erica. My last name's Lee,
Lee.
and Sunshine's been my nickname since I was a kid. So,
Okay,
and then
well,
it followed me to California.
Yes, yeah. Well, you're a ray of sunshine
Thank
in
you.
my world. I have a niece. Whose great niece, her name is Ziggy Sunshine, and that's her
That's
real
awesome.
name. Ziggy Sunshine, yeah.
Oh,
that's her middle
cute.
name.
Well, speaking of merch, I got some new merch hats in. They're red, and they say "Keep Erica Great." So you
Oh,
can
I
get one
love
tonight
that.
at the show.
I love that. There you go. Keep Erica great. Well, it's been so fun to get to meet you.
You too.
So, anything else you want to share with us? What do you got going on? So
Well,
you're on the road a lot.
I
So
am
where are you headed next?
Always touring. I am heading back southeast to Nashville to record some new music, and I'm going to play in Georgia next weekend. I'm playing in private party in Austin on the 13th. Then I'll be back in the Meeting of the Minds for the Parrot Head big rendezvous at the end of October. They moved it from Key West to Gulf Shores this year. So this will be the second year in a row they've had that. So a lot of shows at the end of October in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and then back to Key West for the winter, and then the host.
So you will spend the entire winter in Key West.
Unless I get booked for other shows, I'm pretty much down there.
I don't like you anymore. I love Key West. I
But,
got to get down there.
But definitely, if there's other shows in between, like sometimes I have fly-off shows, and then I'm playing on a cruise. You're gonna
Oh.
maybe get jealous on this one. March 16th to 23rd, it's the Parrot Head, Atlanta Parrot Head, but it's just the Parrot Head cruise. It's going out of LA to Mexico, and that'll be playing for a week with 3 other artists.
I hate to tell you this. I'm not a cruise guy. Been on one. And
but with live
hated it.
music.
Not with live music. Now, that's another story.
But with 4 of your favorite bands and a lot of food and drink included.
I got to know who the other people are, so I would love to come and hang out on that. But yeah, that's the cool thing about hopefully about this podcast, right?
Right.
It turns into just a great big vacation party, right? But
It is. And then Italy in April, I'm taking a group out, and then back to Key West
Oh
in
my
May for the
gosh.
Songwriters Festival, and then hit the road back in June.
you are living the life.
It's a pretty good one. And I got my new children's book out. It's called While You Sleep. It's a bedtime story, and
cool.
that's available on Amazon, or you can get a signed copy at ericasunshine.lee.com.
I love that. I have a brand new grandbaby,
Oh, congrats.
number 9.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're producers, right?
Good.
I have 4 children, and 3 of them are married, and 3 have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So right, so our three have kids. One is divorced, but anyway, I have 9 grandkids, and
I got divorce songs too. Don't worry. You
Oh,
can
I'm
send
sure.
them.
Yeah. So anyway, we're fortunate. We have a great family. We're really blessed, and they all love music, but none of them have any musical talent, right? I mean, like their parents.
Yeah.
I tell everybody. So my mother-in-law was a songwriter. She belonged to the Arizona Songwriters
wow.
Association. She would go every year to Nashville to the songwriter convention in the spring, in March, because she'd miss my wife's birthday when she was there, and but she'd go to the Bluebird, and then she'd come home and she'd go, okay, I need you to pay attention because these are the guys that are going to be big,
And they blow up.
Garth Brooks,
Oh, gosh.
Clint Black, Alan Jackson, KT Oslam. I mean, she saw all those guys at the Bluebird and those little venues in Nashville.
Wow.
At those little songwriter deals. And so anyway, yeah, it was cool. She passed away 24 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, last month, 24 years ago. So, but anyway, so we have a lot of musical
Lovers.
background and lovers in our family, but no talent. And my mother-in-law could play by ear. She played. She had a grand piano in her house, and she could play anything. And my wife's like, "Yeah, I just thought someday it would just naturally come."
Never
and I'm like,
did.
"It doesn't. You have to work at
You
it."
do. I mean, I worked on it for years,
Yeah.
and I remember getting a capo and learning 3 chords and moving the capo up just so I could get through a 3-hour show of 3-chord songs when I first started. And that was how I threw myself
That's
to
brilliant.
the wolves.
I know more than 3 chords now, but
Well,
I mean, look at those fingers. You know, I mean, you yeah. But I still am a terrible guitar player. But speaking of that, will you reach over and grab that Teton guitar for me? So Teton Guitars is an Idaho company.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they're right up the road from us, and they've been so gracious to give me that guitar, and I have everybody play it, sing me a song. You pick your poison, and then you autograph it for me. I got
Well,
that.
sounds good. Well, this
Yeah.
is off my new album. It's called Country and Western because I
Awesome.
write both kinds. I didn't want people that thought I was doing tropical rock to think I'd given up on country because I still have a lot of country songs
Yeah.
in me. But this is on my new album. It's called I Don't Get Jealous. I saw you staring across this dim lit bar. I could see your buzz buzzing and the neon stars. If you're looking for some action, girl, you're in the right place. If you dance any closer, I'ma punch you in the face. I don't get jealous, honey. I get arrested talking, going white trash in a hot mess second. I ain't putting up with hoochies trying to get up on my man over my dead body. If you're thinking you can take him away, no, he's mine forever. You ain't got what he wants. I'm the new Loretta. I'ma have a little temper once my patience gets tested, but I don't get jealous, honey. I get arrested.
Oh.
No, this ain't my first rodeo. I'll take your red lipstick and stick it down your throat. I'm sure you work pretty hard to get them pretty curls, but I'll rip the hair right off your head. I'm warning you, girl, I don't get jealous. I get arrested talking, going white trash in a hot mess second. I ain't putting up with hoochies trying to get up on my man over my dead body. If you're thinking you can take him away, no, he's mine forever. You ain't got what he wants. I'm the new Loretta. I'ma have a little temper once my patience gets tested, but I don't get jealous, honey. I get arrested. I shoot another look, I'm watching you, cougar. I got the bullets, I got the loaded Ruger. I know you're trying hard to get his attention, but did I mention I've already been to prison? Cause I don't get jealous, honey. I get arrested talking, going white trash in a hot mess second. I ain't putting up with hoochies trying to get up on my man over my dead body. If you're thinking you can take him away, no, he's mine forever. You ain't got what he wants. I'm the new Loretta. I might have a little temper once my patience gets tested, but I don't get jealous. What? I get arrested. Oh, I get arrested. Oh, I get arrested. A little love song for you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Erica Sunshine Lee. So tell us, so where do we find you?
EricaSunshineLee.com. Follow me on Bands in Town. It's a great app for music lovers.
Yep.
And also, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I TikTok a little bit.
You tick the talk a
Just
little
a
bit.
little.
Yeah, us as well. So don't forget, follow us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, click the subscribe button. Don't forget that, because then you're going to know when we post Erica's interview, right?
Perfect.
And we just love it.
Thank you.
It's been a blast.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you.
Follow Erica on all our social media. Follow us on social media. Make sure
And
you
book me a show in Idaho.
and book a show in Idaho.
That's right.
We got to get her to Idaho, guys.
I do weddings, divorce parties, private
There you go.
events.
Yeah, bar
festivals.
mitzvahs, all that stuff. All that stuff. So cool. Well, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the
you.
time. It has been a blast.
Nice to meet you.
And it's been great. We're going to get to watch you the next couple of
Perfect.
days and get to hang out. And so this has been so fun.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. And so once again, we're in Livingston, Montana, at the
Mm-hmm.
Livingston Songwriters Festival. And so we just look forward to seeing you. We will see you somewhere down the road.
That's right. Y'all have a
Adios
good
for
one.
now.
Bye.